Now, this is actually my part 2 video or more updated video of whether you can buy a property under trust in Singapore right now and whether is it a viable option. The reason I'm doing this video is because 2025 and especially this year, quite a number of my clients has been asking me whether is it still a viable option, will IRAS catch or not. So I just want to address some of the questions that my clients have, including some FAQs that a lot of people are asking, and also I give you 1 to 2 case studies. So let's get along with it. First, I just want to give you a bit of background. So last year, you will see that there's quite a number of newspaper articles that couples buying under 991, IRAS are actually going after them to claim back the ABSD. But I just want to give you an idea is that actually this is a loophole that you can actually buy a property by reducing a tax. But it is not illegal, because if it is illegal, these people will be jailed already. There was actually a case that a mother and a son was actually jailed, and their reason is not because they avoided tax, but they actually lied to the government, and because of they lied, that's why they were jailed. Now, and therefore, because IRAS deem it as a way that they are avoiding tax, hence IRAS went to claim it back. So I will say that it is tax avoidance, not illegal, but IRAS have the right to claim it back. So in today's video right now, I'll be actually talking about some conditions in which you need to satisfy such that IRAS will not be able to claim back if you intend to buy a property under trust. So what are some of the conditions? Now, the first one that has always been done or has been done multiple times is that in compared to the past, right now, trust has to be an irrevocable trust. Okay. Now, the video is too long for me to explain the difference between revocable and irrevocable trust. But basically, irrevocable trust means that this trust cannot have any conditions at all attached to it. Okay. Secondly, it is highly recommended that you can't sell until you are age 21. Now, if after 3 years after CSC, if the child is not yet 21 yet, yes, you can write into IRAS stating the reason for selling, and if IRAS gives the permission that you can sell, definitely you will be able to sell it before the child turns 21. Next, when you are purchasing a property under trust at time, it is a requirement that both of you has to open a joint bank account. Now, this is just basically clearly for accounting purposes, just in case if IRAS were to inquire about your case, you will be able to explain to them and show them the cash flow. Most important that for a trust title deed at time, all benefits in terms of monetaries has to go to the children, to the child instead, okay, or to the trustor. Now, the next condition that you have is that you can't take a housing loan, because these properties still belongs to the beneficiary. Therefore, since the child is below age 21, the child will not be able to take a housing loan at all because the child is not working. The ABSD for trust is 65%. Yes, you have to pay this 65%. But then again, if all the conditions, as I stated over here, is being met, the ABSD will be refunded back to you roughly around 6 months period. It has been as much as early as 4 months, between 4 to 6 months. Next, we have a minimum of 5 years holding period of the property. Example, if the child is 17 years old, you have to hold on to the property until the property becomes, when the child is 22 years old, then you will be able to sell it. This is actually basically about the Singapore Bankruptcy Act. Now, if you want more information on it, refer to our website. I'll be explaining more why this is the reason the government put in this reason. Now, the next one is that landed properties must meet the Singapore Land Authority Act. Basically, PRs will not be able to hold on to this property at all. In one of my case study later, I'll be explaining about this clause. And basically, lastly, the trustee, or which is the one who is actually taking care of the property, must not be within the MOP period, which means, let's say I am a PR, I bought a HDB, and my HDB has not met 5 years yet, I am not able to become a trustee at all. Okay, now we need to be aligned with IRAS, okay, which means the case has to be a very clean case. So this is one of the things that a lot of my clients has been asking me, and this is my advice I give them. Now, the question is that IRAS may go after you and deem that you are actually gaming the system and want to claim back the ABSD. Now, 65% of the money of the property, of course, is not a small sum. Therefore, this is what I always encourage my clients to keep or to follow all these guidelines to show that, hey, this is a very clean case. the whole idea of this trust is that I want to give to my child, or the grandparents want to give to the grandson, and we are not doing any tax avoidance. Okay, so basically, as I mentioned just now, we must have a bank account between the trustee and trustor, and you must keep all receipts, all bank statements. This is what I encourage, especially the rental. All rental money must go into this account, and the expenditure must also be from this account. So some of the expenditure includes the rent. Income will be the rent, of course. The expenditure, of course, will be the repair of the property and what's not. Okay, and you must keep, okay, a yearly cash flow statement, because at the end of the day, you need to show to IRAS, okay, these are all my cash flow statement, everything, all my profit, everything will eventually go to the beneficiary, and me as a parent is not taking a single cent out of this property. So as long as the money all goes to the beneficiary, that's a very clean cut case. There's no worry at all. So basically, this is actually just a timeline of if you want to purchase a property under trust, what is the flow will be. So firstly, of course, the trustee will obtain the OTP, they will sign the trust title deed, they will exercise, okay, and when you exercise that time, of course, for a resale property, you pay the 4%, but for a new launch property, you pay the 15%, and together you pay the 65% over here. 6 months later, basically, you will be able to get the 65% back of the refund. I would just want to share a few more Q&A questions. Now, this is through my experience that over the last 4 to 5 years, a lot of my clients has been asking these same type of questions. So these questions consistently repeat itself. Likely you'll be asking these questions. For more FAQ, please refer to my website. I have even longer FAQ that other clients has been asking me. But these are the more important ones. Can the property be trusted to both my kids? Or if I got 3 kids, can I be trusted to them instead of just one? Yes, you can. It can be trusted to more than one kid, but we normally recommend to only be trusted to only one kid. It's because accountancy will be easier. When the child turns 21, it's easier to sell the property. What is the exit plan? What is the worst case scenario that I've ever seen or you should be prepared about? Now, the exit plan basically is that when the child turns 21, because the property goes to the child straight away, so the child can decide whether to sell the property or not. What is the worst case scenario is that the child, when turn 21, the child has the control of the property. So the property is no under you, the guardian, or even the grandparents. It's his own property. So he has the right to sell the property without your control, because you just need the child's signature will do. Secondly, when the child sells the property, the money go directly to the child's bank account. So from a joint bank account becomes a single bank account of the child. So of course, legally, you will not be able to touch this money at all. That is the worst case scenario. So if the child want to anyhow spend the money, there's nothing the parents can do. Is there any hidden cost of the trust that I should be aware of? Answer is no, there's no hidden cost. Now, to set up the trust, including conveyancing of the property, roughly will be around 6 to 10K. Other costs by the property is that when you are collecting income due to rental, there's the income tax. That will be under the guardian that is taking care of the property. So there is the property tax, and there's also the income tax from the rent. So what happens when the beneficiary turns 21 and the property has not reached the 3 years after CSC? So basically this is about the 5 years mark. So when the child turns 21, of course the property straight away will go to the child. Okay, and basically the property under the child will not be able to sell the property. Of course, when age 21 at time cannot sell the property and want to buy a BTO, of course you cannot do that. You have to wait until you can sell the property, which means you have to wait from the 5 years mark when the trust is being done, and after 5 years you have to wait for 15 months before you can buy a BTO. Will this affect his BTO chances? Answer is no. Can I be the trustee if my HDB has not met the MOP period as stated previously under a condition? Answer is no. Now, I just want you to know that HDB is very, very strict on this policy. There's no point writing into HDB to ask for a request. I written in for my client before. HDB straight away outright reject. Who pays for the property tax and the income tax? Basically, it's the trustee, the person who is taking care of the property. If Now, I just want to end off with a case study that is actually very popular in the past. I'm getting less and less of this type of cases. More and more cases that I have are actually pure Singaporeans only. Parents and grandparents are both from China. A child is a 1-year-old baby who is a US citizen due to birthright citizenship. So basically, the child is born in US, that's why straight away he got a US passport. Now, with the US passport, due to the free trade agreement between Singapore and US, there is no ABSD at all for foreigners buying property. But then again, the child still has to pay the 65% ABSD. Now, the child will be able to claim back the ABSD. Okay. Now, this property belongs to the child. And just to let you know that the only condition that they cannot do is that since the parents, grandparents, the trustees, and the trustors are all either US citizens or from China, therefore they are not citizen, therefore they will not be able to buy any landed property at all. So actually, that's all I have for this video. This is actually a very fast video. Look at the end of my video. There will be a link that talks about my earlier videos that talk about some of the other case studies or the more fundamental concept of trust. Please visit our website in the link below where I'll be actually talking a very detailed guide of what a trust is. Alright, so that's all I have for you. Thank you so long and goodbye.